Are you ready for 5,000 square feet of Lego fun? I hope so, because it's a block party.
Whatcha Wanna Do Today.
All right, Doug. Hi, welcome to the channel. Can you tell me a little bit about your shop, how you got into Lego, and how did this all transpire?
Yeah. So I've been a lifelong Lego fan, and I am 51 years old. I've never had a dark time, as some guys call it, where they went to college or grew up or got married. I never stopped. I've always played with Lego my entire life. One day, a friend of mine called me and said, "Hey, you should really think about doing a Lego birthday party." And I said, "That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard." And now 325 odd birthday parties later, we've expanded to a store. We travel the country with different displays, and we also vend in a lot of places. We go to different stores or different shows, sell everything Lego. We try to build everything Lego and show off anything we have.
So you mentioned your shop. That original shop was, what, 1,100 square feet?
About 1,200 square feet, counting the storage area and the closet that I was not supposed to be using.
So that's a Lego problem. I can understand that.
But it was organized.
It was stuck everywhere, wasn't it?
Everywhere.
So 1,400 square feet, that's not this shop, because we're looking at over 5,000 square feet.
Correct. We just moved in here. We just opened Black Friday 2021 with 5,000 square feet, and we also have some storage areas on top of that too.
So you're telling me that old shop was cram-packed full?
If you ever came in there and there was more than 4 people in there at a time, you felt it. There was more than 4 people at a time. It was pretty bad.
What did you like as far as a theme? What was the first theme that you gravitated towards?
Biggest thing for me as a kid was Old Space. And after my parents passed away, I bought my parents' house and realized I had left some of my Lego stuff upstairs. And I still had the Galaxy Enforcer, the monorail, the original Yellow Castle, a lot of good stuff like that, Blacktron, things like that. It was all upstairs in my old bedroom as a child.
Okay.
I had forgot that. And now it's in my office, still on display, and it's still built. So
it's like finding a hidden treasure, isn't it?
Well, basically, I got my down payment money back if I ever wanted to sell it. Absolutely. So
that's awesome.
It would finance the house for sure.
That is awesome. As far as themes, most people gravitate towards Star Wars now. Is that what you see here at the shop?
Well, Star Wars is kind of special to me. When my son, who's now 25, wanted to get into Lego stuff, and he was the one that first suggested, why don't we go to this Brick World thing they're talking about?
Okay.
Why don't we go to a meeting? First of all, let's see what it is. So we went to a meeting, which was Indy Lego user group here in Indianapolis. Right. You had to be an adult to join.
Right.
So, but Jacob was allowed to come along with me and talk about stuff. And the guy who owned Brick World at the time said, "Hey, why don't you guys build a display if you've got all this stuff?" And we looked at each other and went, "Okay, why not?" So we built what is now a pretty embarrassing display of Geonosis, which is behind us. We didn't have time to do a whole lot of stuff, so we put everything underneath tablecloths, made it look like it had topography to it. And then we built bases and ships and troops and all kinds of stuff on the top of it. The very first Brick World we did, we kind of choked the hallway from this convention center hall to the next one. People had never seen Star Wars before. We have kind of continued on the Star Wars route because that's what him and I like to do and like to watch, Star Wars movies. Any kind of sci-fi, really. This is version 7 of Geonosis. So it's expanded now. It's 8 feet wide, 8 feet tall, and 20 feet long when it's fully set up. Right now, we just have a sampling of the mountain set up. So Geonosis, we just did an actual battle droid factory. And normally when all the widgets and doohickeys work, raw plastic goes up here, gets melted in the foundry, comes down, goes through the different conveyor belt lines, and then they march off and go to battle. So I was telling you, my son, who's 25 now, I had this sitting there. We were going to work on it, and he said, "No, you got to put part of the battlefield out." So he hung the gunships from the ceiling and the AT-OT dropship from the ceiling. And then I was missing my minifigure on my name tag, and he basically took it and said, "I got captured by the battle droids, and the clones were coming in to rescue me." And I'm like, "Okay, you've been out of Lego for a couple of years, and you just right back into it now, aren't you?"
Gotta have a story.
So he did all this and put it together. This was our first display. Every month we're going to have a different display out here. Our best guess one time was about 120,000, and then we added a few more base plates full of just rocks and battle droids and stuff like that. So I would guess now 120 to 150,000 pieces. There's 2,000 minifigs on the battlefield normally, and a lot of hardware and a lot of rocks and little pieces of gravel and stuff like that. So we're going to make it bigger and better and better. We're going to probably display this in March in Brickworld, Indy.
Okay.
And we're going to have it all back out. And for the last 2 years of COVID problems, I've been buying a lot more tanks and battle droids and their accessories and a lot more clones. And then there's a new clone battle pack coming out in January. So I'll be able to expand the battlefield without spending 10 or 15 bucks on a clone. So if you want clone battle packs, you probably better stock up before I get them.
Before you get a hold of them. Out of your box sets, what do you think are the most unique one you've got?
There's a Battle of Mustafar still sealed in box that's on the shelf there, or in the glass case one that I was really eyeing, because in my personal collection I have one of all Star Wars sets from the beginning up to the Super Star Destroyer. And that Battle of Mustafar set's in a little bit better condition than mine is. So that one's kind of a personal favorite right now.
Personal favorite. Your used sets. What's your quantity right now that you think you're setting on?
Well, the built ones that are on that shelf back there, there's several hundred used sets that are built on display for sale. And then probably in the box that's been verified, a good 50 to 75 between here and what I've got to still price in the back room. My daughter takes all the sets that come in, the used ones, and we take them all apart. She verifies them, puts them back in reverse order. So bag one pieces are in one bag, bag two, bag three, bag four. So that when you open one of the boxes from us and it's been a little thank you sticker, it's been verified and it's put back in just like you're opening a brand new box. So it's got all the parts in it, all the stickers in the right spot. Everything's in the box just like you bought it brand new.
How long has the shop been open, all combined?
A little over 9 years.
9 years.
9 years and a couple months.
In your 9-year time frame, any sets coming in that you said, you know what, that's going in my collection, it's not hitting the floor?
I actually just had one Sunday. It was an old McDonald's restaurant, because I used to be a McDonald's manager in former life, shall we say. That went home to my collection. It replaced the one I had with real crappy stickers. It was mine when I was a kid. So yes, that does happen. It happens quite often, actually. Probably the ones before that, I had some Indiana Jones sealed boxes come in. I had a sealed Cloud City Star Wars set come in. Yeah, I've got a lot of pretty cool stuff that's came into the shop over the years. About a year ago, I had a guy come in and he brought all of the old pirate ships, and they literally looked like they just got put together.
Oh, wow.
And I said, wow. I said, did you have these in bags or something? He goes, no, they were all in sealed boxes. And I said, you built them? He goes, yeah, I just did. I said, well, you probably cost yourself a little bit of money, but these are super cool. They're still going to be worth money, but probably cost you a little bit. And he said, yeah, my son died in a car accident. These were in his closet. And I felt like I wanted to build them. And I felt like this big. I still bought them, but they were absolutely pristine. They'd never seen the light of day until that weekend when he brought them in.
What is the most impressive thing that you've seen come in this shop so far?
This shop so far, man, that's a good one. I've had a lot of good stuff come in already, and I think it's really motivated by Christmas money. People are bringing everything in they don't want to mess with. And we've had 5 or 6 SpongeBob sets come in.
Okay.
We've had some really good Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom type stuff come in. We've had a lot of Star Wars stuff come in. Well, somebody's already traded in a brand new sealed Ultimate Collector Series AT-AT Walker.
That didn't take long, did it?
It didn't take long at all. He said, yeah, I used some of my points to buy this.
Was it built or was it still in the box?
It was still in the box. It was still in the shipping box.
Oh, wow.
So, of course, we opened the shipping box to go, ooh. that was pretty cool. I was not expecting one of those to come in, for a really long time.
He changed his mind that fast, huh?
Well, he spent some of it as in-store credit, and he left with some cash. So he was happy. I'm certainly happy.
Nothing wrong with that. Everybody's happy
with it. So, the lightsaber and the Santa Claus front yard set, whatever it's called, it was in there. He brought that in too. So,
with the items that are coming in, what do you see as far as turnaround on those? How long are they sitting?
It's probably taking longer for us to process, clean, verify, and put back out than it is for them to sell. I have a small army of people that are verifying sets right now because we've had so many come in. I mean, there's a dozen really good Lego builders here right now. I mean, there's 6 in the other room right now working on stuff, but there's about 12 of us that are constantly verifying stuff to get it out on the shelves to make sure we don't run low. I've got a lot of great stuff out there, but it's never enough. You got to have more. I'm a firm believer in you can sell it because you can always get more. I mean, if an AT-AT walker comes in 3 days after it started selling, other stuff will come in. So we have a dedicated buy window. So when you come in, you just walk straight in the door. We have a scale back here. We have all the stuff it takes to look up prices and figure out what kind of offers we can make on things. So as soon as you walk in, we got an express lane to buy.
Couple questions I've always asked every shop. What's that one build that you absolutely hated the build but liked the finished product?
Hands down, like the first 1 through 10 spot was the Ghostbusters Ecto 1. So these hands, I can build Geonosis pretty easy.
Right.
You give me a car that's 5.5 inches at the completion, I'm going to invent a lot of cuss words that I should not have said. These are, I mean, it was like a T-Rex trying to put together a great ball contraption.
Right.
You know, just could not get my hands to physically cooperate with all those plates in such a small build. That was absolutely my most hated build, but I love the finished product.
Right.
And then I even took it apart and I put the light kit in it, and I still dreamed up new cuss words just to do that. But I do love it. I love the car. It's in my office. I use it on my displays sometimes. So I love the light kit. It has the red and blue flashing lights and the little Ghostbuster trap that glows. Cool. I love that. So.
How many new people did you see coming in new to the hobby?
Wow. So we opened Black Friday, and I would bet you a third of the people that came in had never heard of us or a Lego store of any kind before. And then probably another 20-30% had been to like the Lego store, right, but never to a resale shop that has stuff.
Now, what was the ages that you experienced in that? Were they younger kids? Were they adults?
I had
adults?
A lot of older people than me. So in their 60s, 70s came in. Okay. And that might be from the neighborhood. A lot of them right, said they just lived around the corner or whatever. And I had a lot of kids come in with their 20 to 35-ish parents to see what it was about for the first time. They had no idea that you could buy a Lego like this.
They had no clue.
No clue.
What would you recommend for a new guy getting into the hobby, the smaller kids first?
I would find out what they like. You know, if they're a sci-fi person, I'd get them into Star Wars or right, something. If they're a superhero fan, I'd get them into some kind of probably a Batman set because they tend to be cheaper right, than the other superheroes. But if they like the Marvel stuff, I'd get them started on some of the new Spider-Man.
Okay. Now, what about the adults? What about the adult that comes in and says, you know what, I want to drop $500 on this Star Wars set because that's what I like. And he's never touched Lego in his life. Knowing that they've never touched Lego in their life, I would probably start them with a Falcon maybe. That's something that will not break every time they look at it. You know, iconically, a lot of guys come in and buy the AT-AT walker right, first time. And we tell them, look, that's going to fall over. Okay, it's going to make a mess. You have to attach it to a plate to keep it from falling over right, until you get used to the balance. Any big catastrophes in here? Oh, God, yeah. What's your biggest drop? Probably one of the big Indiana Jones Temple of Dooms. One of the guys that works here, he came in running because he had found the old gray ball for the temple. Right. Or for the, I may be saying the wrong set. It's the one that comes with a big boulder, rolls downhill. Right. We had the set. We dropped it in the excitement looking for the ball. Oh, wow. We put it in a box, verified it was all there except for the ball. We didn't have the ball. Tried to buy one online. So far, the only guy that had one was in Russia, and he wanted $300 for the ball. Oh, and wow. I said, no, that's not going to happen. So then 2 years later, Bob comes running in. He's like, oh, my God, I found the ball. And then we're all in excitement trying to find, okay, where do we put the set? It's been 2 years. So that one's had a lot of drama up and down with it, but it turned out okay. In an old store one time, there was a parts department above us for an automobile place. And they had a cascading failure of their shelving system. And about 1,000 pounds of parts times 7 shelves. One went, and then the next one went, and the next one went. And it felt like an earthquake inside the store. And it shook a lot of stuff off the walls. Oh, I bet. And it was pretty scary because we were all thinking, oh, my God, it's an earthquake. It's an earthquake. No, it's the parts department upstairs. And the shelves went domino effect down. So you mentioned your display. Mm-hmm. You mentioned some shows that you're doing. Uh-huh. Tell us about those. Yeah. So we do a lot of shows with Brick Universe. We do a lot of shows with Brick World. We do a Brick Bash in Michigan. We did do some Brick Fest lives. I'm not sure if they're still back on or not for after COVID to be doing those. Probably another 15 or 20, small shows, just one time mom and pop, put together right, a show.
So
Okay.
we love to travel the country and do that.
What shows do you have coming up?
Our next group of shows are going to be Brick Universe in Louisville, Kentucky in January. And I believe there's some more coming in March. We have Brick World Indy here, and I think there's some Brick Universe shows also in March.
Any regrets in the hobby? Like that set that you should have bought and you didn't, or
How long we got?
yeah.
So in life, I don't have a whole lot of regrets. I'm kind of a go for it kind of person. When I was on vacation many years ago, I could have bought a pallet full of the original Statue of Liberties. The one now that's like $2,000 a box.
Right.
Yeah, I could have bought 40 of those on a pallet and have it shipped back home for $40 a piece. And my now ex-wife said, "We're not doing that. That's stupid." There's one.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. I had a Mr. Gold in my hand, and a guy hit me up after I posted on Facebook that I had it, talked me into buying it from me, so I sold it thinking I'll get another one. I still don't have another one yet. I have a hat and a staff that came into two different collections, but I've never found the rest of it yet.
Never found the rest of
So, yeah, that's probably a second regret there. So our case here is an old school case. It actually still moves and lights up. It actually has all the collectible minifigure series by numbers in here. And then you can scroll through and see which ones you like. And then we also have in this cabinet collectible minifigure series by theme. So Disney, Harry Potter, Lego Batman, things like that. So we do have most of the collectible minifigures in stock, is one of the things we try to make sure we have all the time. Except the Mr. Gold that I'm still looking for. So if you have one at home, call me. Okay, so we are located at 2220 East Southport Road in Indianapolis. We're just on the south side of Indy. Brand new location, 5,000 square feet, tons of cool stuff. I promise you'll have a good time in here. You can look us up at It's a Block Party on Facebook, or on Instagram, itsablockparty.com, or you can give us a call at 317-494-5248. Look forward to seeing you soon.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, be sure and check out the other great content that we have. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that little bell. See you guys later.